Marcia. Before we get started with the calendar, one thing that's we do from time to time, and will be important for us to maybe do a little bit more, is our social media presence. And I think, is there anyone in the club who would have any interest in helping out with doing any posts or anything on our Facebook page for our club? Chuck? Okay. Jim? Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea if we came up with some kind of a schedule for that. You know, maybe a meeting wrap-up post and like this is what's coming up this week kind of thing. So some kind of a schedule, something that we could all share on social media to get our, expand our what we're doing within the club, when our meetings are taking place, what's going on in our meetings, to try to attract new members. For the calendar coming up for the remainder of January, on the 24th, there is a club runner intermediate training, which is a virtual program in the evening. That is from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So if you're interested in figuring out some of the things that you can do a club runner, I think especially things as far as like communication, having people register for events when we have volunteer events and so forth. That might be a very interesting program.
What was that?
The 24th. And on the 31st, if you're interested in learning about grants, there's a grant certification webinar on January 31st at 6:30 p.m. Both of these events are on the district calendar. If you're interested in registering, you can register there. Any questions or any other events that anyone wants to mention that are coming up this month, the rest of this month? Okay, well, that takes us right into Rotary trivia. Yeah, before your food even arrives.
That happened.
I don't know.
Not even eating.
Hold on.
We got bumped up on the schedule.
That's right. We have priorities.
All right.
Hold on.
Places.
Where am I placed? Where's my place?
Oh, what color we need you?
John, we'll put you into the script later on.
Okay.
All right.
You're a manager. Live from the Franconia Cafe, it's another exciting edition of Rotary Trivia. Join us as one lucky contestant will play to win a fabulous grand prize. They're showing us what they know about Rotary. I'm your announcer, Larry Moss, here with their host, Phil Jackson.
Today's grand prize.
That's the audience contestants playing for a six-figure fortune. A Pennsylvania lottery favorite. Scratch to win 10 top prizes of $200,000. Not sure what to do with $200K? Don't worry, your new friends and your long-lost family have plenty of great ideas.
Yes, of course.
Finally, be sure to play responsibly. Overall chances of winning is 1 in 4.33 billion? Retail value of today's grand prize, well, it's $5 prior to scratching.
That's right.
Yeah, then it's,
As a matter of fact, it's wrong to gamble if you lose. But anyway, how about introducing today's contestant?
Today's contestant was selected at random from our studio audience just moments ago. This Rotarian is as smart as they come, and unlike the lottery ticket, getting a correct answer is no gamble with our contestant. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to, you're on.
Glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me.
You know what?
No.
I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
$5 ticket, 1.443 or whatever, or trade it for $5 worth of the 50/50.
Oh.
No thanks.
Gary took the green tea with him anyway. All righty, let's ask the question. How are funds for district grants using district designated funds calculated? In other words, we have grants districts put out there, and they get the district designated funds from the foundation. How do they calculate those? How do we get them? District's annual giving 3 years prior are divided equally, the funds available between all districts. It's a percentage based on the district size. The districts enter a lottery. Hey. Did you want to ask the audience?
No. I think I'll just go with A.
Yeah, what makes you think that?
I don't know.
All right, Dan, please take away the incorrect answers. There's no lottery involved here. Yeah, whatever we're getting to now. And is it a percentage of the district size, or is it the 3 years of giving? It is 3 years. You are a winner. 200K. You owe us all a little bit at the end if you win. 200K, that is.
I'll divide it.
You win $2. That's
Yeah.
all right. But wait, as always, there's more. Oh my gosh, should have written this bigger. District grants, fund small size for district grants, small size activities that address needs in their communities, and communities abroad. So each district chooses which activities will be funded. There are humanitarian projects, scholarships, youth programs, and vocational training. And then the real crux of the whole matter here is how they're funded. Districts may use up to 50% of their district designated funds to receive one district grant annually. So, and a lot of times we'll use our district grants for local projects as it comes through. This percentage is calculated based on, based anyway, let me see, where was I? Based on the generated district's annual giving 3 years prior. So the really great part about this is donations that you make to the foundation 3 years later comes back to us to use. So that's really the great thing. So anyway, it also includes endowment earnings, which gets calculated to those givings. But anyway, next slide, Dan. And the real reason for all of this is, and the question was posed out there, do you support the Rotary Foundation? Like to participate in Rotary service and travel? The opportunity to do good in the world, working with a dedicated team of volunteer Rotarians is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And here's what's going on. Our district, together with District 7390, I think it's put together by a global grant, but also there's the opportunity to use district designated funds from our club going to Africa. And John, you were there, and there was a fabulous presentation. But what they're going to do with physicians, there'll be vocational training for eye care, dental care, exams, procedures, general medical care, maternal, child health, heart, general equipment, and things. And it's scheduled for April of 2023. So you can go. They're looking for volunteers. And apparently it's a 7-day mission, and it can be supported with the club's DDF, district designated funds, or just general contributions from clubs. And in addition, after the 7 days, you get the opportunity. It's in, it's in Zimbabwe. I guess that's Mafui, I'm thinking, pardon my pronunciation. So it's there, but then afterwards, you can go to the African safari in the south, I guess that's Luanga Park, and it's one of the most pristine parks in the world. So it is a great opportunity, and as I said, it would be a world thing. But that's coming up, so if you have any interest at all, you can contact me, or Cindy Horniman, who was a past district governor. So hence sort of the roundabout way for the question, the district designated funds. But you are a winner, Don. So thanks for playing.
Congratulations, Dinah. Speaking of, we had a lot of discussions about the foundation during Foundation Month. And, if you have the opportunity to start contributing to the foundation, that's something that you can set up on a monthly basis, I think, to make contributions to that almost automatically, so you don't really notice that it's kind of happening. And, if we can think of things that we can use grant funds for some projects that we maybe have to do within our community, we're always seeking ideas for that as well. So if, anything you can think about, if you guys recall, We were having a discussion in another meeting last night about some areas that we've done some work for in the past that we maybe haven't done work for recently, like the Sebastian Riding Academy. They may have some needs over there that we may be able to fulfill. If they have something substantial, may be able to be fulfilled with a grant. So that might be something that we might want to consider thinking about it. So congratulations again, and good luck with your scratching. Next up, we have a great guest speaker this morning, Ann Leslie, who is the Executive Director of the Indian Valley YMCA, is going to talk to us about what's going on at the Y and maybe enlighten us on some things that the YMCA does within our community that we may not be aware about. So Leslie, why don't you come on up?
Morning. I'm not sure about the guest speaker being great part, but I'll do my very best. As John so nicely said, I am the executive director at the Indian Valley branch of the North Penn YMCA. Just by a show of hands, how many folks here have been actually in the Y? Oh, wow. Well, now you've screwed up my whole. No, that's actually wonderful. That's wonderful. I started the YMCA actually when I was a little girl. I was what they call a Y brat. I was a swimmer as a young child, and that was in Dayton, Ohio. I swam for the Kettering YMCA, and it started my love for the Y. And I didn't even realize it at the time that I'd end up where I am now. I swam all the way through high school, got recruited to swim in college. Swam in college, graduated, got a job, like everybody else, and went into the insurance business. I was a State Farm agent and found myself having to make a decision between being a stay-at-home mom or staying on and working 12, 14-hour days and not seeing my son. So I chose to step away from business for a while and raise my children. And when I wanted to get back into the workforce, I actually just walked in the Y one day and I said, I used to be a swimmer, I taught swim lessons, I lifeguarded, I did all of these things, and I'm looking to get back to work. And they snatched me up, and here I am. And that was in 2015. So I had obviously a big aquatics background. When I got hired at the Y, I was also kind of coaxed into getting into the wellness. I was a triathlete myself, so I became part of the wellness center. Worked my way up, wellness manager. I got into youth because I also did 9 years of preschool in my time off. So I got into the child development end, became an aquatics manager. They took me down to Lansdale. I became the associate branch exec in Lansdale. And then eventually in 2019 was brought up here. So I've kind of worked in every department, worked my way up. I didn't just walk in from off the street, and I have a very big place in heart for the Y. That being said, when I started at the Y in 2019, I walked in and there was a lot of changes that need to be made at Indian Valley. And I got right to work. The day I walked in, they said, we had a pool audit, we need to shut the pool. And I said, you're not doing that. And we got right to work. And then 4 months later, a pandemic hit. So it's been a challenge for me. I like a challenge, not quite this much of one, but it's been an interesting ride working at a primarily fitness place through a pandemic. What happened when the pandemic hit is we went into community service mode. So we are a charity. The YMCA is a charity. And I think that's the one thing that for me is always surprising, that most people don't realize that the Y is a charity. People think we're a gym and swim or childcare. But during the pandemic, that was never more obvious. I myself was driving to Costco and Giant and buying groceries for our senior members. We were making phone calls to all of our senior members, checking on them. I was picking up prescriptions for them. We held blood drives. We held vaccination clinics. Anything that we could do for the community, we were trying to do. And those are the moments when you realize what your job means to you, because you get so caught up in the business aspect in my role that it's those moments when you go, gosh, this is really doing good. When you walk up to a member's door and you drop off groceries because they're scared to go out, and they're almost in tears thanking you. I mean, I had people give me tips and I'm like, no, don't, keep your money. It's part of our calling. So I think, that being said, that's a lot like, what you guys do with, the Rotary, serving people. In addition to that, the Y is known for our financial aid and our scholarship programs. We do not turn anybody away for the inability to pay. So, if you come in and you say, I can't afford the membership or I can't afford childcare, we go right into, financial aid mode, and we get the paperwork going, and we don't turn anybody away. I always tell the story, I think it was probably one of my first, experiences as a manager. I had walked into the Y, and there was, in front of our pool, we have some chairs. There was a woman sitting there with her head down. She was crying. And I saw one of the other managers going to talk to her. I said, is everything okay? And she said, yes. And afterwards, she came and told me that this mother had enrolled her 3 children in camp, our summer camp. And she had just found out that she was losing her job and could no longer afford summer camp. So of course, we gave her a scholarship so her children could continue to stay enrolled in camp. And she absolutely just was weeping because she was so happy. So we see that kind of stuff every day, where we get to provide for families that need help. So I think that's, in a nutshell, the good of the Y. Outside of that, obviously the gym and swim and all the facilities that we have. We have 1 pool at the Indian Valley branch, 3 pools at the Lansdale branch, all kinds of swim lessons, group water classes, the wellness centers, obviously, in both branches. We have a lot of group X classes. We have all kinds of active older adults activities, which we've brought back since the pandemic. We have bus trips, and we had a Friendsgiving lunch. We had a holiday lunch. We have all kinds of wine tastings and things like that. So we really try to get our active older adults involved in not just the working out piece, but the socialization piece, which was really missed during the pandemic. And I think that's what a lot of our active seniors really look forward to, because just as much as keeping their bodies in shape, they need that socialization, and the Y is a big part of their lives for that purpose. We see a lot of gals come in and they'll take their water classes and the gentlemen, and then they'll separate and they'll go out in the lobby and have coffee and donuts, and that's a big part of their day. And to walk up and see them so happy and engaged, it's really lovely. We're on Peter Becker's land. The Y was actually opened in 2004, built in 2003. So we partner with Peter Becker for a lot of things, and we have a lot of their residents, Arbor Square as well. So that's kind of it in a nutshell about the Y, unless anybody has any questions or.
What kind of, like maybe needs or things like that does the Y have that a group like ours would be able to assist the YMCA with?
So we often have groups come in to help service, because we are a charity and because we are coming out of a pandemic. We went from over 9,000 members to just 5,000 now. So it really hits our bottom line. And we struggle with building maintenance a lot of times, big expenses there. We have simple things like we have our office, for example. We have carpet that's coming up and is a tripping hazard. We have the carpet squares, but I don't have a building and grounds director right now to help install it, and I haven't had one most of the year. It's been me. So I was out on Sunday filling potholes in our parking lot with some help. So it's things like that I think it's mostly facility, things that we need the most help with right now. Oftentimes we have people come in and paint, especially in the Lansdale branch. They have a lot of help down there with organizations. Merck will send people over to, paint a room or something.
Okay. Do you still swim?
I do still swim, although I don't like to get in a bathing suit as much these days, but yes, I do still swim, and I still teach.
Oh, okay.
Are all YMCA's charitable organizations, or how's it work? Because I know you can't definitely belong to a Y in Harleysville. You can't necessarily go to the one like in Spring City, Watersport.
That's a very good question, actually. So the YMCA, for lack of a better way to explain it, people think, so I'll give you a quick quick background and then I'll answer your question. During the pandemic, when we shut down, I had a Group X instructor come to me and say, I want to teach this 5 a.m. class. And I said, you can't teach the 5 a.m. class because only 2 or 3 ladies come. And I have to watch the budget and I can't pay you to do a class for 2 people, right? She goes, well, I don't understand. The Y has millions and millions and millions of dollars. So here's an employee that does not realize that we're an independent, that we stand alone, just us in the Lansdale branch. So for lack of a better way to explain it, it's almost like a franchise, if you will. We pay dues to Y National in Chicago for their support, for their branding, for all of those things. But we ourselves are an independent YMCA with 2 branches, with our own board of directors. Val served on my board of managers and so forth. So what happens with that, if you sign up at a location, you are permitted through reciprocity to go to any YMCA in the country that accepts reciprocity, which most of them do, as long as you go to your home branch at least 51% of the time. So if you were to sign up, say at Harleysville, and you wanted to go to Perk Valley or another Y, as long as you're attending Harleysville 51% of the time, you are permitted through our reciprocity agreement to go to any other YMCA.
I have a question, and I guess it's a question for both you and John. Have we ever done any joint fundraising?
That I'm unaware of. I know as part of our job descriptions as managers, directors, and staff, we are tasked with raising our 2 branches over $200,000 a year for our programs, for our charitability. So we do fundraising. We are cutting back on the amount of, I guess, the activities that we're trying to do, and we're trying to do more asking and things like that. There's a lot of time and effort put into running events. And we did a Monster Dash last year. We had 50 participants, but it doesn't bring a lot of money in. It's a great community activity, but since the pandemic, it's been a lot harder to run events and get the turnout that we once had. I know this year our plan is to run a designer bag bingo in October. That'll be our one really big event. And right now we are looking for a facility to host it. We had reached out to Peter Becker. They're unable to do it. So we're looking for a facility up here to do that. But as far as joint fundraising, I don't know that we do a lot of that. Any fundraising is great. So, we're always open to ideas.
I have an idea, so I don't do that.
Be great. Yes.
Do you ever collaborate with other organizations that sort of seeing, like I work at Encore Experiences, and I've often thought about calling out the line, see how we can collaborate to broaden our support team.
Yes, so we had worked with Encore prior to the pandemic. We had given Encore members program memberships, my understanding, and they were allowed to come in and take programs with that membership. That being said, a lot of things coming out of the pandemic changed, and we no longer offer that particular type of membership. So yes, we do collaborate with other places. We do our wine tasting at Arbor Square. We bring some of our services over there. We do talks over there. We bring some of our trainers, things like that. So yes.
You mentioned you did some service that you delivered meals and things of that nature. Is that something you have an internal group that the people do it? You just took it on yourself to do it.
The directors did. When we shut down for COVID, all of the part-time staff was furloughed. Some of the full-time staff was kept on, and we went into service mode.
So it's not necessarily an integral part of your programming.
Correct.
I was going to say, for what, we could partner with something like
Correct.
that.
Yes, we do work with, we do have, lists of places that we recommend, and we try to facilitate getting homeless people that come in. We have a large homeless population. We try to get them services with Manna and different places that we partner with. But outside of that, we don't do it ourselves per se.
Also, I heard a little scuttlebutt, I guess it's at North Penn really, about the golf simulators. Do you have those as well?
Harleysville, no, we do not have them at Indian Valley. We're a very small, we're about 38,000 square foot facility, and they're about 3 times our size. What they did at Lansdale is they had a wing where there were racquetball courts that were underutilized, severely underutilized, especially with the advent of pickleball. And so they converted the racquetball courts to simulators. Two of them are sports simulators, and one of the racquetball courts is an e-gaming room. So if you haven't been there, they're always happy to take you through and give a tour. It's actually, you can't believe that you're at a Y, right, Chip? I mean, it's like really cool. You've golfed in there, correct?
Yeah, and I got again tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I'm not a golfer. These things are amazing. There are two golf simulators that golf's the main attraction, but it does so much more.
Yeah. They have bowling, they have, I mean, it's all kinds of sports in there that you can do. The golf is heavily used. They actually have golf leagues and competitions. So it's a nice way to keep your body moving in that golf form. I'm not a golfer. I always say I do everything in a straight line. I run, I swim, and I bike. Anything that requires pivoting, it doesn't go. But yeah, no, they have golf leagues and everything. So it's a very neat venture for the Y, and there are other Ys that are doing it across the country. So it is starting to pick up speed. I did not even know, and I was a swimmer in college, that they have scholarships for like e-gaming and things like that in college now. So, I guess I'm starting to feel my age, but it is definitely something that's picking up and growing in popularity.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ann.
All right.
All right, I hope, some of you may have picked up on one thing that Ann said when she mentioned the homeless population in her area. One thing, I don't know if you recall, when I spoke about when Chuck and I went to the cocktails and candy canes events for the Southern and Telford Club, and the policeman there who was talking about, that was to raise funds for Shop the Cop, but the town mentioned police. And he had mentioned how they had picked up a homeless person that evening and had him at the police station and trying to figure out where they would be able to house them. And, this is another example, like Ann had mentioned, of something that we may not realize is a big challenge within our community, but it is right all around us. When you're driving around, going to different places, or you're driving to Walmart or Ace Hardware or Hennings, or these are things that happen are in our community that we need to be aware of, so that we can do what we can to support those populations.
Sorry, on that note, so, if you guys don't know, the main big homeless shelter in Norristown was closed, was bought out, or county owned it and kicked out the, organization that was in there, so there's no, that shelter got closed. A gentleman in his 80s that was homeless in Norristown died from, basically froze to death, because code blue hadn't opened yet. The Pottstown code blue, they did not have one. A church opened up, the county closed them down, saying that they did not have what they needed to be a homeless shelter or code blue shelter. So the homeless in Montgomery County are really struggling to have some place to go on these cold nights. Mostly COVID facilities do not open until it's like 29 degrees outside. So, you and I don't want to be outside when it's, 32 is freezing. So why are these food groups not opening at least when it's 32? So if you can volunteer, Trinity Lutheran Church in Lansdale is a code blue facility. They're always looking for volunteers for overnight shifts. If you have the opportunity to volunteer, think about doing it, call them and see. But there's a big issue with housing the homeless. There are only so many motels that will take them in for a few night stays. And then you have to have the funds to pay for those nights for the homeless.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that church?
Trinity Lutheran, big giant church on Valley Forge and Main Street. They have a code blue facility in there. But again, they're not open until it's 29 degrees.
Thank you. Okay, Any brags or sags for this week?
No brag or sack, but I do have a, sorry, Todd. The Montgomery County, or Montgomery New Britain, Rotary Club is doing their second annual mini golf on Sunday, February 5th, which I believe is probably Super Bowl Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, a week early, I don't know. They have 2 shotgun starts, one at 1 o'clock, one at 2:30. It will be at Montgomery Township Rec Center, and Gardner Palace will be one of the beneficiaries for that. It's $50 for a team of 4. You can go to their website to find all the information.
Oh, what was the sport again?
Mini golf.
Oh, mini golf.
I think it's indoor, I think, right?
It's indoor,
Yeah.
yes, at the Montgomery Township community building.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any brags or sags for this week?
Right. All right. Beginning of February, I'm going to be going to Florida. One of the houses similar to where Gary and his group, I think I want to connect with you guys while you're down there. I think I found the Rotary Club that I'm going to go to their meeting. Their meetings are Wednesday, 7 a.m. Same time. Sorry, I won't be here. I'm in Florida, but it should be a lot of fun. So actually going to the house that's in the same group as Gary's. The website, I think it's like Magical Vacations or something like that. Down there with about 20 family members. Have a big family reunion, a 12-bedroom house. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how long will you be down there?
A week, yeah. It should be a lot of fun. All right.
What, like, okay with those?
No. I'm going down to see the mouse. I'm going to see the mouse, and that's about it.
All right, I got a brag. We just put the deposit down on our Australian trip for May. So I'm figuring out now how to sign up for Rotary International out of Melbourne. And then I won't have any money left after this trip. It's a big one.
Anyone else? All right, I guess it's raffle time.
Are we asking our speaker to fix it again?
Yes.
Okay, we do a 50-50 raffle. So, put it okay. Seven.
7963.
She took Gary's one.
Okay. One step closer to the grand prize, okay. What is the, any idea of what the pot is up to? Anybody? Any idea of what the pot is up to? Okay,
That seems to be her standard.
I'm sure it's pretty,
Didn't know, but when I got sick, things just kind of fell, you know, here's a pile, and I'm gonna deposit it next week.
okay. I'm sure it's spectacular. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, anyone have any final comments before we conclude the meeting for today? You know, as you leave today, make sure that, you have a grand week, kind of like on this day in 1908 when Theodore Roosevelt makes the Grand Canyon an a national monument. So we leave today, we are going to simply talk about Rotary today. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Our board meeting will be after the conclusion of the meeting. We'll wait a couple minutes if you guys are finishing up your breakfast. Okay. Thanks.
John,
Steve, are you staying on for the board meeting? You're muted.
No, I'm good. I'm just getting off. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, you're welcome. Talk to you later.